Good evening, Dan, Aaron. Secretary Leon Panetta knows the Clintons well. He worked in President Bill Clinton's administration, and he's been working with Secretary Hillary Clinton for 25 years. He says yesterday was a disappointing loss for Democrats, but he's still hopeful for the future in America. Leon Panetta didn't hide his disappointment Wednesday, but the former Secretary of Defense said he's looking toward the future. Panetta says America is facing a big question mark. What President Trump did we elect? The one who wants to build a wall, or the one who asked voters to come together on election night?
It is time for us to come together as one united people.
You know, I've never thought of him as really a Republican or a Democrat. And he could find a place where he could build a coalition between Republicans and Democrats that might just be able to govern. There's that potential.
Secretary Panetta says he sees two major issues that will face President-elect Trump upon his arrival in Washington: gridlock in D.C. and providing not just the country but the world with leadership during these dangerous times.
He is going to have to provide world leadership. He's going to have to listen to people like a Secretary Clinton and others within his own party who represent what I believe is responsible leadership when it comes to our national security. He's going to have to listen to them.
Panetta says he's spent 50 years serving the public, and if called upon to provide advice to President Trump, he will, because he says there's no question now is the time for the country to come together.
I believe that that is our best hope for America, is having people, no matter how angry or frustrated or divided we may have been during this campaign, to realize that the only way this country survives in the future is by all of us coming together and supporting those we elect.
Secretary Panetta says he believes in the Constitution and a smooth transition from one government to the next, and he hopes that's what happens in the next 10 weeks. Dan, Aaron.
All right. Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you, Caitlin. You can see Caitlin's entire interview with Secretary Panetta on our website, kspw.com. Meantime, the Panetta legacy continues. Panetta's son, newly elected Congressman Jimmy Panetta, won last night in a landslide victory, defeating Casey Lucius.
He spoke with us about working with President-elect Trump and a Republican Congress.
It's similar to my time as a prosecutor in the sense that every day I go into court, I deal with defense attorneys. They want the exact opposite thing I do. Yet 95% of the time, we come up with a deal. And that's what it's about. In Washington, D.C., it's about relationships. You talk to Congressman Sam Farr, he will tell you that even though he was in the minority most of his time in his 23 years, the reason he was able to get things done is because he was able to have relationships, not just with Democrats and Republicans.